here officially for 5 years now.
Yeah, this is our 5th year, man, living in Orlando. It's like flown by, right?
Is it what you expected?
Yeah, I think in some ways it's exceeded our expectations, in other ways maybe not. And so why don't we do this? Why don't we drive around, show some different spots, and I'll talk a little bit about what we expected when we moved here, how things have changed, and at the end of this video, I'll tell them a little bit about what they should do to prepare if they're thinking about relocating.
Starting out, what was your initial reason before moving?
So I grew up in Detroit, and I've been in real estate for like since 2003. You know, so I can do this anywhere, right? So I know real estate really well. I just needed to get to know the area. And so my wife and I were like, if we're gonna relocate, we thought Florida would be the place. Like we actually originally thought we would buy a second home in Celebration and kind of like go back and forth. Eventually we were like, why don't we just do this now? Like the kids are young, especially like while they're young. I mean, there's so many things that are easier when the kids are like, they're not as established as a little bit older in school and that kind of thing. And there's a lot of things to do here in Orlando that we love. Like Disney's here, there's freaking rocket launches in our backyard. There's just always stuff to do, better weather. We're not stuck inside. We're in Michigan, we were stuck inside 6 months out of the year because it was so cold. We have a lot of stuff to do. You can always swim, you can always go to a water park. It's an amazing place to raise a family. And for us, was where we wanted to raise our family. It made a lot of sense.
So what were some of your expectations before you moved here?
I think, moving to the area, it was like, okay, it's gonna be great weather. Everything's gonna be like Disney. Everything's gonna be squeaky clean. I just thought, we'd have sun every single day and it was gonna be hot all year round. I think that was really the only expectations that we had in our head. But I mean, really that didn't turn out to be true. Like if you go to Disney, you stay at the property, you kind of assume that all of Orlando is going to be like that, but it's not. There's good places, there's bad places, just like anywhere. There's places that need to be remodeled and completely redone, and not every day is sunny. Like today it's a little overcast, and so it rains almost every day through the summer, right? But only for 15 or 20 minutes. So our expectation was pretty high, and although we would never go back, like we love living in Orlando, it's interesting kind of how our expectations changed in some ways and were actually exceeded in others. So like what exceeded our expectations, I would say, is how much there is to do. Like we were huge Disney fans, we became Universal fans, but then there's always something new coming on. It's like a living, breathing organism, Orlando is, because there's like constantly trying to draw that tourism in. But then even outside of that, downtown, over on the coast, there's just constantly new stuff to do, which actually exceeded our expectations, because Disney would have probably been enough for us. But the fact that there's always, every day of the week, something cool to do has been amazing. One of the things I would say, I think I just broke my phone.
Yeah, literally.
Did you hear that? Holy crap.
No way.
Did you hear it pop?
I heard that. Dude, that sucks.
I thought that was your foot.
Bro.
Oh my God.
That definitely messed up with my expectations. How am I gonna trade this in now? I was gonna go get the 12 like tomorrow. All right, so some of the things that I would say that fell short or maybe were a little bit more challenging that I didn't anticipate was really like the food scene here is not the greatest. Like if you're used to Chicago or Detroit, or you're just used to kind of like non-chain areas, pretty much everything is chain run here. Although that's starting to change. There's like a lot more privately owned bakeries and coffee shops and pizza shops and different things like opening up, which it's starting to shift. The more people that are moving here, I think that'll be a really good thing for the future. The other thing was traffic. Like we knew that there was gonna be traffic down by like Disney and that kind of thing, but there's traffic everywhere here, and there's 1,000 people moving to Florida every single day, and so that's probably only going to get worse. So the fact that they're expanding I-4 and they're doing some other connectors, which is really going to help, but we didn't expect how crazy the traffic was going to be. Another thing I had higher expectations for when I moved here was my business. Like I'd been selling real estate at a really high level in Michigan for a long time. And then I looked at the numbers here. There's like 18,000 realtors. The average realtor literally sells less than one home a year. And so I thought, hey, I'm gonna come in here. It's gonna be super easy. Like I'm just gonna continue to dominate right away. And what I found was everybody knows a realtor. And there's some really great realtors here, but there's also some just very part-time realtors. That's probably the most PC way that I can put it. And so for us, finding our spot and then eventually growing to where we've grown now, which is we are one of the top teams in really all of Florida, it's been a cool transition, but a little bit harder. So if you own a business, make sure you do your due diligence up front on what you're getting into in terms of the climate here in Orlando. Another thing I didn't expect is, one of the things I didn't expect was how huge Orlando is as well. Like if you're gonna go from one end to the other, depending on traffic, it could be an hour drive from end to end. And so at the end of this video, when we're talking about how to choose a place, that's definitely gonna be an important point. One other thing I had no idea of, like I did a lot of research because we were looking at like Naples, Tampa, Orlando. We decided Orlando because we love Disney and really the proximity to the coasts and that kind of thing. But I had no idea how huge Orlando would end up getting over the past 5 years. The amount of people moving here, not just for the theme parks, but because of the climate with tech and health and like all of the other kind of things coming here has been incredible to watch. I think the leadership of Orlando and the county has been really, really good. Them incentivizing people to move here. And I think it's just going to continue to blow up as things move on.
So would you say that's something too, if that's nice that people have that in common, right? Anybody moving here, it's like everybody has moved here from somewhere. So. Yeah,
like that's another big one. Like that's a good point. So like when we moved here, we kind of assumed that there's a big subset of people that have been here for 20, 30, 40 years. But it's interesting, like if you move to Orlando, you automatically have something in common with everybody in that really nobody's from Orlando. Like it's kind of a funny thing that like when you meet somebody and they say that they were born and raised here, like they're kind of a unicorn. It's like a rare thing to meet somebody that's from Orlando. But a lot of people are moving here, but a lot of people are not leaving, which I think is a really testament to what's going on here in Orlando.
So if you went 5 years back, would you still move to Orlando? And if so, what would you do differently?
Oof, that's a good question. So I would probably do it sooner. We were waited, just kind of like the fear of the unknown. We probably would have done it earlier. And then like what we would have done differently, we probably would have done a little bit more research ahead of time. Or like, you know, if I had me here, like before we moved here, getting to know different areas a little bit more, I think that would have been a big thing. Like all we really knew was Disney. And so getting outside of the parks, getting to know the areas a little bit better would have served us a little bit better.
So come down, stay different places, discover different areas, see what you like.
Yeah, try different restaurants in different downtown areas, walk at different times of the day. Like, you know, go to downtown Winter Garden, downtown Winter Park, eat there, live part of the experience of living in those communities before you jump in. All right, so there's really 3 steps once you decide that Orlando is where you want to move, or really anywhere in the relocation process. Number 1 is going to be determining your purchase price, and that's really going to determine a lot of other things in the process. Number 2 would be location. Do you want to be in a gated community, in an HOA or not? Do you want to live in an older home or not? Because really, like downtown Orlando, Winter Park, all of those areas have older homes. Winter Garden is mostly newer homes, so determining what's most important. Determining schools is going to be a big one in terms of your location. I could probably do a whole video just on schools. And so having those kind of situated is going to help you narrow down your location. Step number 3 would really be determining your team. So hiring somebody like myself to help you relocate to the area would be huge. I've got not just myself being able to help you buy a house, but really the vendors network that I've got set up for you. So the movers, the mortgage company, the inspectors, all those things you're going to need through the process to make it really smooth. Relocating and starting over fresh to a new area is a big process. So making that even easier on yourself by hiring the right team is going to be great. So listen, make sure you subscribe to our channel because we're putting out new videos every single week, giving you insights and tips into moving to Orlando. And then if you're looking to buy a house here or even sell a house here, make sure you reach out. My number's 407-717-0197 or shoot me an email at ken@positgroup.com, and we'll see you guys on the next video.